Okay, let's talk about the struggle for existence and natural selection, different than artificial selection. Natural selection is a battle between nature, between animals and each other. Here you can see this is an African porcupine versus a jaguar. I'd bet on the porcupine in that case there. Very strong defense that has evolved over time. It's even between like a lion and a zebra. Everyone would always bet on the lion. I'd bet on the zebra. Zebras are pretty strong. A kick can actually break the jaw of any animal that happens to get in the way of that one. That one is not going to do well there. Sometimes it's between a bat and nature. Sometimes it's just can an animal avoid predation, avoid being eaten. And sometimes it's animal versus animal, the same species, of course, fighting for who gets to breed. Here you can see what is the product of natural selection. Highly evolved animals, very, very well adapted for their environment. Now, this started with an economist by the name of Thomas Malthus, who had a revolutionary idea that there are limits to the sizes of populations. Everyone else had thought that a population could keep on growing indefinitely. He said, no, every population will run out of some resource eventually, and you're going to have overpopulation and starvation and all these other things. They're going to run out of food or water or sometimes just even room. If it's a plant, it might run out of sunlight. No population can grow indefinitely. They'll run out of something. As the great philosopher once said,
This town ain't big enough for the two of us.
yes, I just quoted Woody from Toy Story as a philosopher, but the idea is right. There's not enough room for everyone. Someone's got to leave or someone's got to die. That's the idea there. So in all cases, there is known what is a struggle for existence. This means you have to fight to live. It's not guaranteed. It's not given. It's a fight. You have to work for it. In every population, there's always more individuals born or produced than can survive. And this means most animals die young, typically in infancy. That is nature. That is the way nature works. There is a struggle and no one gets in for free. And humans aren't exempt from this either. Here you can see our population over time. As of 2014, we're probably somewhere in this particular range here, but it's projected to go upwards of 9.5, maybe 10 billion people. Even humans are going to have to start fighting and struggling to survive if it's not already happening. So the fact that you have to struggle means that not everyone gets to live and reproduce. Someone is going to die. That is a given. So here you have natural selection, where nature provides the variation, and nature selects those that are most fit. Fitness we would define as how well an organism can survive and reproduce, those two very important things. It's not about just survival. Reproduction is the finish line here, passing on the DNA. Anything that is not fit does not survive and does not reproduce. And this is what is called, Darwin was the one who coined this, but survival of the fittest. Now, sometimes fit can mean the fastest, as in this case of either the bird is faster than the rabbit or the rabbit's faster than the bird. Both of them are fighting to survive. Maybe fit might be fastest here. Sometimes it's the most cautious. Maybe there's two rabbits and one of them was like, dude, I'm going for it, and going out to get eaten. The other one's like, no, man, no, no, there's eagles. No, I'm not going out there. Maybe the cautious one gets to survive. Sometimes being paranoid could be a good thing. Sometimes fit is the strongest. In the case of this wildebeest against a bunch of wild dogs, sometimes the strongest animal is the one that can fight them off the longest, and that one gets to survive and continues to reproduce. And sometimes fit is just camouflage. Any animal that can blend in fantastically on its background, that's a spider by the way, that one has an advantage because it's less likely to be eaten. And sometimes fit can even mean fat. How? Well, in the case of these, penguins here, this one might say, oh, look at me, I'm all skinny. And it's like, okay, good luck in winter when you'll freeze to death. This fat one here has more surface or has less surface area to volume ratio. He's not going to lose all that heat. He'll be surviving. You're going to die. So natural selection means that nature selects the traits that it desires. Any trait that helps an organism survive and reproduce means that it's been selected for. And an organism is allowed to breed by not dying. Basically, it's, hey, you survived long enough to actually be able to breed? Go ahead. You earned it. You survived, now have babies. Any animal that didn't is dead. Competition is not a very nice thing here. If we have all these different giraffes, well, there's not enough food for all of them. This is the only one that gets to eat. That's the only one that gets to survive and breed. Not all competition is predator versus prey. Sometimes it's animals versus the same species. So let's take a look. Here I have a population of rabbits. And let's say that these ones here, there's going to be some random mutation in their babies. Some of them are going to be born maybe a little bit fatter and a little bit slower. Maybe some are going to be a little bit skinnier and a little bit faster. That's going to happen in any population. They're not all going to be the same. Now, let's say you introduce a fox in this. Well, who's the fox going to eat? Well, he's going to start by going for the slowest rabbit, and then he's going to work his way toward the faster ones there. The fastest one here has the advantage. So natural selection is not random who survives. So here's our remaining population. Of course, they're going to have babies. They're going to pass on those traits. The fast one gets to reproduce. Some of the slower ones do. And then, of course, the slowest one, random mutation happens. But then you introduce that selection again, and it's not random who dies. It's very non-random. And then, of course, they're going to have their babies, and they're going to resemble their parents. And occasionally you'll have one born faster, occasionally you have one born slower right here. But again, natural selection means it's not random who dies, and so on and so forth. And you can see how over time a population has changed through natural selection. Nature, in this case, said, more or less, the fastest is what I'm looking for here. Anything that has that trait gets to survive. If you get to survive, you get to reproduce. This means that good traits accumulate. Good things stick around in a population. Bad things, nature's very quick to get rid of those. Anything that doesn't help you survive and reproduce, very quick to be removed from the gene pool.